DeFi, even look at the name, CeFi versus DeFi, we're taking the old school centralized protocols and now we're making them decentralized, but they're just copies of what we did before, right? This is a whole different way of looking at things.
Yeah, we're going to globalized communities where we will spend a larger part of our time. And then that leads to the next part, which is the metaverse.
Yes, tell me.
So the metaverse is basically the digital representation, which is whether it's the combination between AR, VR, and real life all together, where we will spend most of our time.
Are you a VR fan, by the way? Do you have an Oculus?
I've got an Oculus, and I put it on. You go into that room when you start it up, and that's a gorgeous room with this view. Looks like kind of California, this modern house.
I could stay in the room for an hour. It's pretty crazy.
Me too. And the moment I saw that room, I'm like, okay, now I don't care where I live, in theory, right? You can live in this. And then, I played around with it. Yeah, it's all fun. But then I started doing some more work in how people are earning money in the metaverse, this Yield Guild and people renting out swords in games, and, people are earning stuff and creating a living. So people in the Philippines are earning more money in a virtual world by earning real money in tokens that they exchange, that I'm like, oh my God. Okay, so this is like a whole new world, a whole new GDP where all education will live in the metaverse. There is no purpose in having bricks and mortar things. You create community, sure, but you can see each other in a room, in a classroom, but you don't have to be there. So now you've made the kid in Ethiopia on the same playing field as the kid out of Greenwich, Connecticut. So that's super interesting. But it's more than that, because somebody sent me a link in crypto voxels. So it's like a web link, but it's not. It's like a Google Maps GPS coordinate. So I click on it, and now I'm in somebody's NFT gallery with music playing and stuff going on. I'm like, wow. So that's the end of websites, because I've now got this 3D experience. So I'm quietly building out in the background for a bit of fun, like a Real Vision headquarters in crypto voxels. Not that we'll do anything with it particularly, but I just want to be involved in this because I see where it's going. Don't forget, there's been Travis Scott had a concert in Fortnite. 20 million people went. Marshmello had like 10 million people at his gig. So this is, and why? Well, it coalesces this massive community of Fortnite users, which is one of the biggest in the world, not like Facebook, which is 3.5 billion, which is the biggest community on Earth. But there's like 100, 200 million people. And you've now disrupted the music industry. Because think of all of the trucks that they have to tour with, and all of the touring managers and all of this, right? Well, basically now you need a graphic artist and some tech guys and some sound guys, and you're getting to 20 million people.
And you have a front row seat at the concert. Everyone does, right?
Well, or you don't, if you don't have the NFT. Right. Or you're not a community member, so you don't have the social token. So sorry, only Travis fans can be at the front. Now you're driving value. So these GPS coordinates get rid of websites. That's gone. And that will go very quick. Next 5 to 10 years, everyone's going to be setting up in the metaverse.
No more 2D worlds. We won't be looking at screens. We'll be in spaces. Yeah.
And then, so the next thing that happens is once you go in there, you realize that I can create this little world. So I'm looking at you now. I've got my Bloomberg screens here. I've got another screen here with my Evernote open and other stuff. And maybe I've got Twitter open, and I've got this Zoom open, and I've got a bunch of other stuff. Right, this kind of tiled effect of windows. Well, in the metaverse, I can create my own world where I can have 30 screens. And I can have my Twitter feed on my wall pinging me when something interesting, and I can be watching what's on Netflix, and I can create my own platform. So I don't need a platform any longer. I don't need the platforms, and I don't need the software that comes with Apple or Microsoft. I can create my world how I want it to be. Or your academy, you can create a classroom within it. You can create the tools and say, here's your place that you can work, and we've set you up with, these are the things we think you need. I mean, we can create virtual trading rooms. So then you can actually share knowledge with the person next to you. Hey, how did you go on today? I had a shit day because of this. This is the metaverse. And that's only the start of it. So if you go and look at Google Mark Zuckerberg, The Verge, he just did a long interview in The Verge about the metaverse. And his last call at Facebook was 45 minutes of him talking about the metaverse only. He's like, we are a metaverse company. This is where we're going. We own as much of the IP rights as we can in virtual reality. And don't forget, he's got the system of money too. You're like, oh my God, they're moving fast. Then yesterday, I think Microsoft was out talking about the same thing. It's like, we're headed towards the metaverse. I'm like, okay, so the big leaders are telling us there's going to be a huge battle between the decentralized and centralized metaverses. How's it going to be interoperable? Because these are the bad guys, like the banks are the bad guys as well. So there's this big battle to come. But that battle we'll see, much like we've seen the system of value and money, is we'll see acceleration because so many people want to be involved in the battle. So it's an arms race of technology, money, and speed to market. So at breathtaking speed, we go from starting Bitcoin to creating Ethereum, to creating a platform, to just disrupting all of the financial world, to then disrupting the world of value and the contractual worlds, to communities and adaptive societies, to then moving to live and reside and earn in a digital world. And that's all going to happen in this short space of time. And that is why it's kind of terrifying but exciting, but it is happening. What I'm not telling you is me being a futurist saying in future we'll all have flying cars. This is what is being adopted now. When Mark Zuckerberg spends, it was an hour and a half on that interview talking about the metaverse and that they've got 10,000 people working on VR. It's coming.